This has been a mission to even get here right now, okay?
38 minutes to be exact.
You're lucky we showed up to work today.
Do you know what though? I was thinking about it this morning because Meadow and I try and be so mental healthy about the way that we record these. And like we've both multiple times have woken up and texted each other like, I can't record today, or Meadow will text me like, I
Mhm.
can't record today because we're just like fucking going through it. And at the end of the day, we want to bring you guys like good content. And if we just sound like angry bitches, it's gonna show. And but then I thought about it because ever since last week when Meadow and I really firmed up our schedules because we were like, "Enough, we need to just get shit done in order to get
Uh-huh.
things, like, in a timely manner."
Mhm.
I thought about it today and I was like, "Wow, the professionality, if that even is a word, is gonna skyrocket," because
Professionalism,
yeah,
right?
they
Yeah. The
I
one time I got a
really
word today. It's been 38 minutes. I had to have gotten one. I mean, at
people
this
shit
point.
on me so much for my spelling and, like, me not knowing words because 'cause I'm supposed to be a writer, and I'm like, "That is what
Spelling
fucking
just genetic and
spell
English
check
is your
is."
second language? Like, absolutely not. It's not your fault.
The horror, whatever.
How are you? How's your day gone?
Drinking a LaCroix. We already talked about this, we're not talking about it again, but
Mhm.
it's weird for me that I'm drinking a carbonated drink. It's just weird.
Especially a LaCroix. It just really it doesn't make sense to me.
I just had chasers in my fridge for my birthday and I was just craving
Oh, but do you
not
like it?
water.
You didn't even say. Are you enjoying it or no?
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm drinking a Moroccan mint green tea from Trader Joe's.
That sounds delicious.
I know. I love you and I love the turmeric ginger one from Trader Joe's. That's like a big you and I tea, I feel like.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god, it's the tea that I drink at your house every time I come over. It's like the pink and yellow box.
That's not
With
a
the
Trader Joe's brand.
Yes, it is. It's like a
No,
turmeric I will literally get the box right
Meadow,
now,
I don't
Gabriella.
I don't shop at Trader Joe's. So I don't
I
know
s
why that's in my cabinets.
How do you not shop at Trader Joe's? Trader Joe's is
I
my Disneyland.
I give you straight up ginger tea.
Yeah, I know, but I've made it myself. It's in your maybe I brought it. Honestly, that adds up. Maybe I brought it to your house because I don't know. Oh, you know what? If I had an Erewhon, I would not be shopping at Trader Joe's either, I guess.
I mean, the thing is if I'm not going to Erewhon, I'm going to Whole Foods, and the only reason I go to Trader Joe's is for snacks.
Yeah.
I
I
have
just
very strange shopping habits in the way that I grocery shop.
I prioritize farmers market, then Trader Joe's, then Whole Foods. That's my priority list.
I feel like I'll become a farmer's market girl. Oh my god.
Hmm.
I feel like Kim Kardashian when she lost her diamond in the ocean. A ring
People
that
are
my mom got me for
dying.
Christmas is missing a diamond. I just got this fucking ring.
Oh, that
How
sucks.
Yeah, how the fuck? I was like, "What?"
Anything. Dude, my mom had to stop wearing her rings at school because she was the elementary school librarian and putting like books up and down all day. She like lost a ton of them.
Dude, like, fucking elitist side note, but, like, the jeweler that we use in Miami, they've always been great, and then, like, they've just been fucking shit up. Like, everything I get from there breaks.
Same place though? And like all of a
Yes.
sudden, different weird.
It's just breaking, and I'm not rough, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Right,
not
right, right.
fucking smacking my hand against a wall.
Right.
Alright,
Weird.
elitist rant over. I'm like, "The diamonds.
My diamond earrings.
My diamonds."
Should we
The
jump
fuck were
straight
we
into
just
our unpacking because we're clearly in our feels? I mean, look at us. Like, let's just go straight into it because look at us.
Seriously. Also, like, people need to know before we do that, we're testing out being further away from our microphones. We don't have a producer. Please sign
We
us.
do have a gorgeous
We're just
editor.
testing something, okay? So just bear with what the fuck this sounds like because I have no idea what it's gonna sound like. Okay, so today we're talking about a lot of things. We are unpacking a whole lot,
We
and
both Do you wanna start with, like, how we both on the phone today decided that there's some weird shit in the air? Because it's like, here's the thing,
take it away.
nothing horrible is going wrong, right? Like, there's of
Mm-mm.
course, there's been a few road bumps in our lives the past couple weeks, but as life always is just lifing. But both of us very intensely and other people we know, like, we all feel like we're coming out of this, like, weird, energetic, like, dark night of the soul grief, and I'm like, "Nothing is going on, so why am I, like, feeling all this weird spiritual, energetic emotion grossness?" I do feel like it's shedding. I feel like the coats are
Yes,
coming off, the cobwebs are being wiped clean, but I don't know, it's just felt weird recently.
I agree. I don't know what it is. It's just been really quite a heavy energy. The only thing that I can think of is really hyper specific to my life. And so Anna Maria, if you guys don't know and haven't heard Matt and I talk about it, she's this like psychic and medium extraordinaire, amazing
Intuitive.
person,
Yeah.
intuitive woman. And we were speaking recently and she reminded me that or kind of explained it to me because I don't think I thought about it, but I'd never had someone explain it to me before of the concept of holding on to other people's energies when you're not even around them. Because I feel like I'm
Mm.
very receptive to people's energies in person, and I really carry that, and, like, it
Mhm.
I need to, like, literally go like this and get it off me when I come
Yep.
home,
Mhm.
but she was basically explaining that if you're thinking about somebody a lot and you guys are sort of, like, psychically connected. God, I feel like I'm really making up words today. I'm really
No, no,
sorry.
you're not. I'm following you. Yeah, cyclically so psychically?
Whatever, we're connected, up here. She was saying that if you start to feel weird, sticky energy that doesn't feel like yours, it's probably theirs. And you can latch on to
Mm.
people's energies that way. So I've sort of been chalking up my experience to that.
Dude, I felt the exact same thing, but I just took it, like, way big picture. Like, instead of me and some other person, I'm like, "It's the collective consciousness. We're all just going through it's been fucking COVID, it's been this, it's been that. How many mass shootings have we had in 2 weeks?" Like, it's the collective consciousness. We're all just fucking going through some shit, dude.
Yeah. So
And
I don't,
we're all energetically connected. We're all fucking living beings on a floating rock. We're all connected to some capacity. So I that makes sense to me.
no, 100%. So I don't know. That's just what I've been chewing on
It's been
lately.
weird.
It's been weird. And I told Meadow this morning, I was like, I feel like I'm grieving a death that hasn't happened.
Totally.
And it's like, I
Totally.
feel as though I'm doomsday prepping.
Oh, I don't feel like I'm doomsday prepping. I feel like I'm processing through doomsday. I don't
I
think I'm
don't,
waiting for something big. I feel like I'm going through something weird and I'm finally crawling out of it.
yeah. I
You
don't,
and I have been journaling a ton. We've been in our feels a ton. Like emotions are just like turned up. Like the volume
yeah.
on our emotions are just turned up. You know what I
There
mean?
everything's just really heightened and weird and, like, I don't know. I mean, I we were also talking about this and it sort of connects into it, but lately, it's been really difficult for me to not laugh at the concept of rest being productive
Mhm.
because my rational mind is telling me, "You need to rest in order to produce any of your best work or even show up as your best authentic self." But then I sort of spiral and I'm like, is my happiness and is me resting becoming complacent and lazy? Where is the line
Yeah.
of actually resting and recharging and living in my happiness versus just getting super complacent and really lazy? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but look at your personality as a whole. That's never gonna be your problem. You know what I mean? Like, the fact
But
that you
that's why I
consider that
spiral
I
because I'm
know.
like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was just that's why I spiral is because I'm like, I feel like if I'm really happy, I'm almost distracted by my happiness, and then I feel like my work, um, goes on the back burner because I'm so concentrated on how happy I am in life.
But why can you reframe that to make your happiness your motivation to get more of, so you wanna, like, incorporate that more into your work or have that bleed into your work or have your work start supporting more time to be restful and happy? Like, what
Yeah.
if you reframe it to be a motivator? Does that work, though, on your brain? Does that Jedi mind tricks, or is your mind like, "Nope, not it." You know what I mean?
I haven't tried,
Okay.
so I don't know because I do get it.
Report back to the group.
No, I will. I do
You
get
good?
excited. I do get excited when work is going really well.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's always a balance. And
Yeah,
it's like
it
sometimes
is.
my mind is like, "You're too happy.
Yeah.
What's going on?"
I've had the opposite problem. I am really leaning into rest and it is going well for me. I am loving it. But
I'm so
also, like,
happy for
I've
you.
always been that friend in the friend group where, like, I have the lowest work ethic out of any one of our friends. Like, I would be
That's
perfectly
not
happy
true.
just, like, existing. Name
No, but
one.
that doesn't mean that you have a low work ethic because you get what you need to get done. You were just less obsessed
But I don't
with
like it.
success,
Like, I don't I
which
like
isn't
nothing
bad.
about working.
Maddie's the same way. We were just talking about this the other
Uh,
day.
really? I guess
Yeah.
so,
She was like,
yeah.
"If I could retire tomorrow."
Ugh, a bitch would. I wish a bitch would. Fuck. That's my goal. That's my motivation. Imma work just so I can retire tomorrow. Ugh.
Yeah.
Maddie and I
That's
living on a farm somewhere, being off the grid, never going back on again. That would be the dream.
no, literally. I like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, but
Can't
that's fine because
relate.
then you're the reason why we're, like, aware of things going on in the world. Like, you keep us tethered. You're literally the one that grounds the 2 air signs, remember? So,
Mhm.
it says I've run out of this space. I'm gonna lose my mind today, y'all. Ah!
I love when people haven't seen this side of you. I was literally just talking about this the other day with god damn it, who was I saying it to? I was at dinner with Natalie, our girl, Miss Natalie
Oh,
Joy,
I love her.
and we were talking about you and
Oh
I and
god.
how it's funny that, like, our personalities are so different, and I feel like in the beginning of the podcast, I was trying to be more like you, and, like, it just came off really inauthentic in the sense of, like, I'm just not as friendly, and I don't mean that in a mean way.
Please,
Like,
please
I
be quiet.
don't I don't mean that in a bad way. I just
No.
don't think that my personality is as, like, fucking inviting as yours, and that's not to say that I'm a rude person because I'm not rude at all. I don't think I am.
Oh, ever. But I
I
also
just think
would,
I'm a
like,
little bit more blunt.
yeah, but I don't think that's, like, not inviting. Like, your personality doesn't feel uninviting to me. But you know what? People
Thank
are
you.
very intimidated by you. People say that to me a lot. I
Which I
think it's
don't
just because 'cause you're hot, honestly. I don't
yeah,
think
but
it's
so
anything to
are
do with your
you.
personality. Yeah,
But
but I'm hot in, like, a cute way.
no, I know a lot of hot people who are, like, not intimidating. I don't think it has to
Yeah,
do with that.
yeah.
I don't know, whatever. The point is that I was just saying that now I'm just allowing myself to just fucking be. Even the other day on the stories when we were doing that Q&A and people were like, "Oh, Gabby's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
letting it rip today."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I
Yeah,
was
you were.
like, "Oh, fuck, did I sound mean?" And then I was like, "You know what? No, it's my personality." So anyway, the point is, I'm glad you're seeing this part of Meadow because it exists.
It exists, and fucking Gabby gets it all the time. So does Mahal. I'm
Well,
trying
because
not to
Mahal's just
yell
being
because I'm on a
annoying.
microphone. Please. Dude, I took it to the fucking vet again. For anyone paying attention to how many times we have to talk about Mahal's issues.
You just need to put her
Please.
just stay there, Mahal. Just sit on your mother's lap and fucking behave.
Just
For the love
behave.
of God.
Also, this painting behind me of a fucking Picasso sketch of a Dachshund. Is it Matisse? No,
Mhm.
it's Picasso. Thank fucking God I didn't sound like an idiot. Um, my aunt gave that to me like 7 years ago, and it's just been in my house, and I was like, "Did I accidentally manifest this dog just by having this near me and seeing it every day?" And, like, I've never even thought about it, and then we
Oh,
got her, and it was, like, put away, and Aaron and I looked at it one time and was like, "Holy fucking shit, subliminal messaging. This is why we got her."
whoa.
Right?
That's actually pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
God, I feel like our sound is gonna sound fucking miserable.
I honestly feel like we should re-record everything. I don't like anything I've said today.
Okay.
We don't have to by any means. We could keep. So we just took a break so I could flip my hair and do 3 jumping jacks and try to get in a better mood. So you really are seeing all sides of me today.
The tears are at the forefront.
Literally right there.
Such is life, baby girl.
Make it work, designers. That's how I feel.
Literally. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be great.
I wanna get into what I'm unpacking then, I guess, just because
Please
if
just
I'm a
go right
ball of
ahead.
emotions, should I? And
Yeah.
honestly, I wasn't gonna talk about it on the podcast because the person that I'm gonna unpack something about might be listening, who knows, but I'm going to anyway. I'm, like, unpacking a friendship breakup that happened, like, 10 years ago. So that's fun.
Tell us more.
It was, like, my first real adult female friendship, and it was totally codependent. I was, like, free falling out of a 5-year relationship with my high school sweetheart and swan diving into codependent best friendship at the same time. You know what
Mm,
I mean?
that
Like,
was so beautiful.
it really
Thank you.
was one of those. And so it was fine. I don't know, whatever. It's ended and it's fine, but it just still makes me sad. It still bothers me, you know? Like it feels like in a parallel reality that's closer than it actually is. Like in the back of my head, I'm like texting her right now. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just like feels like it's so easy and so close to being like such a good friend and everything we were, but we're not, and it just feels weird. And so I actually unfollowed her recently, like a couple months ago, just because even though they never post, just seeing her name makes me sad.
Mhm.
And then I found out she had a baby. She has a fucking 1-year-old, and I had no idea, and I was so sad, and he's so cute. It just made
Yeah.
me sad.
No, it's a weird, um, thing to experience because it's I feel like we live so many lifetimes within this one lifetime,
Boy, do
right?
we. Jeez.
And
Yeah,
so then to
that's a
feel
good way to
so
say that.
hyper connected to someone at one point in your life, and then to know
Yes.
that, like, you're it kind of is an ego thing too,
Yeah, no, it's totally an ego
to be
thing.
like, "Why am I not important to them anymore?"
And it's not even that, it was just like, "Oh, like, I wonder what was on your push playlist. I wonder what you were craving. Like, why didn't you name your kid the name that you liked in college?" Like, there's
"Why
just so
didn't you
many
name your kid Meadow?"
No, like, I know what her names for her kids were, and she didn't name him
Yeah,
that. You know what? It's just all those cute little questions that are like, remind me of our friendship and remind me of how close we were, and I know
yeah,
nothing about who they are now, and I'm sure
yeah,
she's a completely different person than she was when we were friends, because I feel like I am too.
mhm,
Which is fine. It just is like, "Ah, that's so sad. I still love her, and I would." It's you know why? It's because I wouldn't have wanted that friendship to end. I felt like that friendship ended and our breakup happened in a way, and I never would have wanted it to, and I've had friendship breakups happen because I wanted them to happen,
right.
and that was not one of them.
It's hard, I'm sorry.
Right?
Mhm.
Anyway, friendship breakups are hard. That's what
Yeah,
I'm feeling.
they're not easy.
They're not easy. Or just, like, sometimes we go through different areas where you have to, like, you move and you have I feel like that was one of the questions we got on the stories too. Like you move and you have to
Mhm,
recategorize friends
mhm.
in your brain or learn how to be a long distance friend or learn like, oh, maybe they got in a relationship and it's not feasible to be like the codependent best friend. So now you recategorize what type of like you have to you either grow with people or you grow away from people and both are fine. It's just always, sometimes there's sticky emotions that come up in that process.
Especially when you think that you're gonna be with that person because it's friendship breakups are weird because it's like it's not like a relationship where realistically a relationship's probably gonna end. Like the odds of you marrying them or being with them forever. But with friends, it's like you really genuinely believe you're gonna be there with each other throughout every phase
Thick
of
and
your life.
thin. Yeah.
When it's just like not the case, which is
That's not the
unfortunate.
case.
Um, but adulting.
But adulting.
My sister said that to me one time, like years ago. And she was like, being an adult is recognizing the fact that like your friends are going to change. And I was like,
It's so
why?
true. It's honestly, it's so true. We've talked about this before, but
Yeah.
like Riley and I, we met in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like that bitch is my sister. I've been
No,
through
dude,
some
I have best
shit with
friends that
her.
I've been best friends with since I was 3.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, how many but isn't that so cool though? Because you
It's
like
amazing.
continue to meet each other where you're at in real time and like not project or not like treat them now how they were back then. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like honoring people's growth and not treating them in a way you would have back in the day because they're a different person to like I just think that's
Mhm.
so special, but it does take self-awareness on both sides. It takes
Well,
work
that's
on
what I was
both
gonna say. It
sides,
takes it takes work on both ends. And we should do like a whole episode about it. It's just not today.
It's just not today. But
It's
anyway,
just not
that
today.
was that was the
But
reason I was in my feels yesterday.
fucking valid. Dude, shit's in the air.
Shit's in the air.
Shit's
What
in the
about
air. If
you?
you're feeling some type of way, let us know. I mean, no, we already did my unpacking.
Yeah.
Episode over.
That's it. That's it for
Bye.
us. Well, we
No,
did have some other things we wanted to talk about. Do you want to cue it up for us?
sure. So we got a request on Patreon, actually, from one of our patrons
Shout
to
out
talk.
Jake.
No, not
That's
shout
not
out
their
them.
name. That's not their name. I said a letter of their name. It's still
Oh,
anonymous.
are we fighting on
Yeah.
camera? Meta was
That's
like, let's shout them out. And I was like, no, because they didn't give us permission to use their
anonymity.
name.
It was just a letter. We can
It was
edit
just a
it.
letter. Whatever. It's fine. I'm glad we're fighting on camera.
We gotta give the people what they
Then
want.
they're gonna
We
pick
gotta keep
sides.
things spicy.
Yeah.
Ugh, everyone picked Gabby's side. She's always
No,
right.
that is very incorrect.
I mean, when it comes to issues that we're having, I feel like you're always and issues that we're having means we means the podcast. We never means our friendship.
You know what? I am usually right with
We're never
those. I won't even
hey,
lie.
did
But
I
it's not
lie?
like you're
Yeah.
yeah, but you're not it's not like you're doing something that's wrong. It's just
No,
like
I just play devil's advocate more than you, right?
you no, I feel like I play devil's advocate more. I feel like you play the nice one more. You're like an angel
Maybe I should
advocate.
just I should just go into my evil era.
No, please don't. That's why I'm
I would
here.
be a great supervillain. That's why I'm here. Please don't. That's my role. That's my character.
Yeah, that's my
I didn't sign
character,
off
first
on
of
that.
all. Don't take away my branding.
I thought we had already worked through you being classified as the bitch. Shouldn't we rewrite that narrative?
Yes, but but neither of us is just a bitch.
Just fucking with you.
You guys are watching the demise of my branding in real time.
This podcast is over.
Over. Okay, okay, for the love of God. We're gonna be talking today. Also, if I keep looking at my phone, they're my fucking notes, people, okay? I'm not, like, texting. I just felt the need. I just felt the need. We're gonna be
We're
talking about
really can
mental
you tell
health.
we're struggling with being on video? Keep going.
We're gonna be talking about mental health as an explanation versus mental health as an excuse. And
Ooh.
there is a big difference. There's a big difference. You know, before you jump into it.
Okay. Yes,
Keep
go
going,
ahead.
okay. I was gonna say the Pete Davidson reference. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I feel like this should maybe be a Patreon only episode.
No, you know
I'm
what?
fully gonna cry.
Do you know
Oh,
what?
it's
We said last time that our Patreon episode was so unhinged and we wanted to bring that energy to
Ugh,
the real episodes. So you know what?
we have to
This
do it
is this
then.
is what you're getting.
Okay.
For the okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop talking. Meadow, please talk
No,
about
no,
the
no, the
difference.
Pete Davidson one. Go ahead. We can start there.
We've
It's
just
a
talked
good
about the
place to
fact
start.
that
Ugh.
Pete Davidson made a comment like a really long time ago on SNL where he was talking about Kanye West and he basically was like, mental illness is not an excuse to be an asshole.
Dude. So, okay, I'm gonna
Period.
take it away. Here we go.
Please go ahead.
I recently was friends with and involved with someone that was so open about their mental health, and I was trying to be as supportive as possible, and it just got to the point where I'm like, I this is gonna be not trauma informed. No one hold me to it, okay? This is just sometimes I don't always have to be trauma informed. My life is performance art, it's camp. Sometimes I just wanna look at people and be like, I have clients with real mental illness that would never treat someone the way that you're doing right now. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm just like, "Oh my god," the self-pitying that people can do by falling into their, illness and using that as an excuse to just shit all over everyone or be manipulative or just, pull strings and be like, oh. Like, there's people out there that are, truly, truly struggling with, deep psychosis that would never fucking do that to somebody. Which okay, mental the real fake, I get it. What I said was fucked up, but I still stand by it, kind of.
No, I stand by it too because there's people in this world, particularly the ones I'm not gonna gauge someone's mental illness, but you're not acting out of your mental illness. You're acting out of the fact that you're a cunt.
Okay, much better way to say that. Exactly.
You
And
know?
then just slapping mental illness on top, like, "Oh, I'm
Like,
mental ill. You
no,
can't get mad at
babes,
me."
babes, you're just a bitch.
Yes. Mhm. Absolutely. So anyway, if you can't tell, we feel passionately about this because we did go through it recently. But I do think in general, it does I do say, oh, you know what? Let's take it back to friendships. I will say it does get hard in terms of friendships and learning how to be supportive as a friend to people with mental illness and helping
Mhm.
if they want, people decide when they're using it to inhibit themselves or to not go after what they want or be self-sabotagey versus actually understanding what your limitations are and then, like, how you can grow around them or you know what I mean? I can see it from that perspective in a much gentler way if we're getting into nuance more.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, nuance is always gonna exist in every sort of friendship, and by the way, like, we all have mental health, we don't all have mental illnesses. I feel like it's important
Thank
to
you very
categorize.
much. Yep.
So, there's a difference in the way to go about that, and we're gonna talk about it later more of the, like, from our perspectives, the way that we navigate situations with people,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
there's a difference between, like, you're mentally ill diagnosed with XYZ, whether it be a whatever.
Mhm.
Um, because at the end of the day, we're all fucking going through things, but there's always gonna be nuance, and I feel like I've been seeing just so much, especially in terms of I guess I've just been seeing it in my, like, personal life of, like, look, particularly we all know, we all know. I'm, like, figuring out how to say this. We all know that I joke about, like, the fact that I love a project when it
Mm.
comes to
Mhm.
romantic relationships. So much
Mhm.
so that I feel like friends in my life have become so hyper involved, and caveat, okay, it is to say that I have made certain people hyper involved, but then there are people that I have not made hyper involved
Made though? I mean,
or, like,
we're
gone
willful
to.
participants. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
I've
do, I
I've
do.
allowed my friends to give opinion and
Mhm. Mhm.
comment,
And get
but
involved.
and
Yeah,
get
yeah,
involved,
yeah. Yeah.
but there are people who I have not given that sort of green light to and feel the need to do it anyway,
Mm.
and I just feel like I've joked about it so much so to the point that now my friends are, like, trying extra, extra hard to make sure that I do not fall back into that same pattern,
Mm.
and I feel the need to just say and I've said it to the people in my life, I firmly feel that I am in a place in my life where I can genuinely distinguish the difference between being somebody's solution versus walking alongside them as they go on their personal development journey. Because there is a
Hell yeah.
giant difference
Mm.
between fixing someone and being there for them while they work on fixing themselves. Because none of
Hell
us are ever
yes.
going to be perfect. And I feel like right now, particularly with TikTok, we just hear so much of this like rule book, playbook.
Mhm.
If they
Mhm.
wanted to, they would.
Mhm.
There's fucking nuance. And by the way, like you're literally giving up your deductive reasoning skills, which we talked about in next episode, when you just like give into rule books. But
Mhm.
because of that whole like guidebook, rule book mentality, I feel like people expect their partners or the people that they're getting into relationships to be perfect from the get go,
Mhm.
which is just not realistic because, like, babes, you're not perfect.
That was something that I think I said this in next episode too, like, I was so adamant about that in breakups, like, always coming back to myself, becoming my best self, and not thinking that I could have as exponential self-growth with someone than alone. And it literally took Aaron to for me to be like, "Oh," like, the way
Yeah.
this is how I describe, like, me meeting the fucking love of my life. He shows up and I'm like, "Oh, shit, there you are. Here's everything I've been going with. Let's fucking go. We got work to do." Like,
Mhm.
that's exactly what it
Mhm.
is. It's like, "Oh, thank God you're here. Oh my God, I've been needing help. Okay, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's where we gotta go. We're going there together, side by side." You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm so this, and that, and you're gonna fulfill it," and but dude, I also want to circle back to something you said though, because you said something that I think is really important to also clarify here. That fuck, how did you phrase it? I don't know how you phrased it, but my point was in the same way that you aren't limiting yourself to that narrative that was in your head about you loving a project and like
Mhm.
working on that. I do think when we're talking about mental illness as an explanation or excuse, I feel some type of way with diagnoses. I think the DSM-5 is complete fucking trash. I think all the DSMs are fucking trash. Being
Mhm.
trans was in there till like what, 2 years ago, which is obviously
Right.
hyperbole, but like, give me a break. Pride month. Anyway, it's just like it's so I think people can get diagnoses and really have that be so helpful and so clear and have them understand what they've been going through and use that to empower them to go get help or know like to seek a different route of education or like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Whatever you're like, oh shit, that's what it is. Okay, cool. I just have to do things a little differently. And I think other people can get a label of a diagnosis or a mental illness and fucking spiral, become a self fulfilling prophecy, like not know what to do with it, and also think it lasts forever. Because you can be
Mm.
diagnosed with a mental illness one year and not have it the following year, according to the DSM. Like you don't have to have them for life. By all means, you can, but
Mhm.
you don't have, you know what I mean? And I don't,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it's always in your control. Sometimes it's, you know, it's nature and nurture. Sometimes it's our biology. I know tons of people that would not be the person they are without being on meds consistently forever or won't be. I know other people that have different experiences with mental illness and come in and out of their depression or in and out of their
Mhm.
anxiety. You know what I mean? So I do think in the same way that you're saying you kind of like approach that mindset of not being limited to that and understanding it, but then working with it.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of where the excuse versus explanation can go, especially with a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that does make sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel very strongly about that, but that's just a whole other can of worms that is like not the point of today's episode of just like people just allowing others to just project their shit onto
Mhm.
relationships in people's lives
Mhm.
when it's just like
Mhm.
you're not me, you don't get what's happening. Um
Have you ever chosen a project in friendships? Like, do you think you mirror
no,
how you
no,
choose
no.
friends? Okay, that's interesting, right?
Which is so weird. I mean,
Yeah.
not I don't know because I feel like in friendships like I have such I don't know if it's because like in romance I have romanticized that concept, whether it be the type of relationship I saw between my parents or what that was, where it's like,
Mhm.
I'd rather say I used to romanticize that. Now I catch myself a lot quicker, um, and I feel like I don't do that as. I mean, I don't know what to fucking say because I'm like I do it, but I'm like aware of it, and
Right, right, right.
I
Hey, that's step 1.
actively. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm aware of it, and I actively don't fix. That's the biggest
Mhm.
difference. Is now I don't
Mhm.
go in and try and fix the human.
So you can see yourself thinking the thoughts as they come up, but then you go, "Nope, that's just that thought of
Yes.
that old pattern. I'm not
Yes.
gonna say
So,
anything. I'm not
yeah.
acting on this." That's doing the
Yeah.
work, baby.
But I do not do that with friends. I don't know what it is. I feel
Right.
like my tolerance, I feel like I give, which I don't know if this is the opposite way to look at it, or I should just be doing this across the board. But I feel like I give so much more wiggle room to men who are like in romantic partnerships with me than I do with friends. I feel like my boundaries are much stricter with my friends.
I'm like, "Our friendship knows no boundaries." How is that true?
Like, no, but I'm saying
I
I
think that's
just,
just because I don't have boundaries.
no, but you don't have people in your life that are doing fucked up things. Like, you don't keep those people close.
Right. Right, 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 right. Of course.
Neither do I. Like, I don't have friends I don't not
But
one
you will
human
for
being.
boys. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
okay,
not
okay, okay,
one
okay,
friend that
okay.
I have in my fucking life right now is, like, treating me like shit.
Right, of course. But there's a difference there.
There's a fucking difference, and that's shit that
Ugh,
I mean, that's hopping for you, baby. Like, I've been working through that for a
yeah.
minute and a half of the way
That's
that I let
funny
men
because
treat me differently.
I feel like I seek out both the same. One, because, like, I only ever dated friends. Like, I never went on I didn't really do dating apps. I only, like, met someone out somewhere once that wasn't in my friend group, and then you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
always
but
kind of
even
dated
still,
people
the
as
guys that I've dated that were friends,
still no.
still I gave more wiggle room to. Just because they're your friend doesn't
Interesting.
mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, totally. Interesting.
Because then when they start acting out of pocket, I'd give the leash.
Hmm. Were
Do you
you
know what that is
single
though?
the whole time, though?
Mhm. I don't not in by the way, not when we're in actual relationships. Like, if you are my boyfriend and I'm your girlfriend, not after my college, like, boyfriend, the
Mhm,
psycho
mhm.
one. Like, the past relationship that I was in, yes, whatever, he had wiggle room on certain things, but, like, I've just in relationships, I am if you're actually my partner, like,
Mhm,
you're my boyfriend,
mhm.
then I don't let that shit fly. I think it's because I have a weird fear of abandonment in the courtship process.
Mm. Mhm,
So
mhm.
once I know you're mine and like I'm yours and like we're in it and we've acknowledged it, then like shit does not fly with me.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just in the introductory period.
That makes sense.
If I
Do
liked you a
you
lot, if I don't, I'm like, I don't tolerate you. Bye.
right, 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 right. Do or have your past relationships all been honest about their mental health? And has that affected the leash, the length of the leash?
Well, with my ex that I've spoken about on here, the one that I dated age 18 to 22 that was, like, really emotionally abusive, he definitely struggled with undiagnosed something.
Was he honest about it?
Yes. He was
Hmm.
like, "I feel crazy," and he'd get really emotional about it, and
Mhm.
we'd talk about it a lot, but it was used as an excuse throughout the relationship. That is a perfect
For
fucking
abusive
example.
behavior. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect example.
110%. What about with
Because he can
yours?
acknowledge that he was
Mhm.
feeling that the whole time, but then not only never make any action to
He never went to
help
no.
himself, empower himself, find out more about himself, but then he also used it repeatedly as an excuse to be abusive.
He went to therapy session once and was like, "I'm not doing it again, sorry."
Mm.
Mhm, and then to this day, I mean, I haven't talked to him in forever, but to this day, I guarantee you he would still stand his ground on this. Um, we didn't speak for, like, a whole year, and then we, like, got together to, like, have our whatever moment, and when he was trying to get me to see him, he told me he was in therapy, and
Mhm.
then I literally have it in writing, and then when I saw him, I brought it up, and he was like, "I was talking about physical therapy." And I was like, "You stupid fucking piece of shit."
You were like, "Of course you were.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah, it
Fool
was
me
on me.
twice.
Yeah,
Fool me
fool me
twice. That
twice.
one's on me. That one's
Yeah,
on me."
I'll take that one, buddy. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's so funny. I had a boyfriend that never told me they were struggling with mental health. Not never, but rarely until we were going through, like, a long like, one of those dragged out breakups, the ones that, like, take a year? Gotta love those.
Hate.
Yeah. Oh, no, the worst thing in the entire world, but then would tell me how I was the only person that he could tell. I'm the only one that knows. I can't tell anyone, and it was like, very extreme, like, hallucinations, delusions, like, very extreme.
Whoa.
And I luckily talked to, like, a psychologist friend of mine and was able to, like, try to work some things out or set boundaries or figure it out, but, like, they were like, "At the end of the day, you guys are not only going through a breakup, but them coming to you to that capacity, like, this is not it's
Mhm.
you're only gonna make it worse at that point,"
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? But so, I guess not really, but in friendships, I think all of my mentally ill friends never use it as an excuse, at least in terms of their relationship with us or their friendship or whatever, but I do think sometimes it does take a good friend to look at you and be like, "Is that your depression talking or is that really you talking?" And, like, helping
Mm,
you differentiate when you're doing it to yourself.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I wanted, us to talk about a little bit, the concept of how to be a good friend and support while still holding space for
Space
your own
and
boundaries
room.
and
Mhm,
room, yeah, to
mhm.
take care of
Oh my god.
yourself.
I
Make
have
it a
so many
two-pronged.
thoughts. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
make
yeah.
it two-pronged. Let's start with how to be a good friend and support. Like I said before, you're walking
Mhm.
alongside them on their path, you're not their solution.
Right. Off the dome top, it's like, 1, if you don't know anything about mental health issues or dome top, did that get you really?
I don't know why I've always heard it the other way around, the top of the dome. I've never heard dome top
Top
in my
of the
life.
dome? I feel like no, dome top. Is it like a hip hop thing? Where did I get that from? I don't know. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Uh, what was I
I have to pee so
You
badly. Okay.
guys, go pee,
No,
pause
no,
it
no,
and go
no, no,
pee.
no, 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 no. We're in it.
Okay, fine,
We're
fine,
in
fine,
it to
fine.
win it, baby.
Off the dome top, if you don't know a lot about mental health issues or challenges, or specifically the one that your friend is experiencing, education is empowering as fuck. Like, the more you could just
Mhm.
learn and do your due diligence about how to be a supportive friend, the better. Two, immediately, like, when people share things with you, ask if they want feedback or, like, validation or support. Like, ask what they're looking for when you're
Just
going into a
fucking listen,
conversation with them.
Jesus.
Like, exactly, because like you said, like Nick said too, he's learning to, like, not give unsolicited advice when it wasn't asked. And,
Mhm.
like, your friends that you give the green light to, or not to, like, ask someone going into the conversation what they're looking for in terms of you as a friend. And then also be really mindful of Like, small things, like, how many times do we make jokes about how I never text you back because 'cause I'm always in an anxiety-ridden hole, and
Yeah.
then you're more than willing to be gracious and lovely about it, or, like, I don't know, just, like, the kind of, like, dance and dynamics and, like, energy giving and receiving, I think, is a big part of supporting people with mental health issues, and, like,
Mhm.
being so, is there, like, a word for not comparing?
No, just
Like,
not you're not comparing.
taking each friendship as the dynamic of each friendship is going to be as unique and special and individual as the people that are in them. And every person in the world is so fucking different. I mean, this is all so funny. Pride Month. This is an argument that people make about pronouns. Like everyone in the world is going to feel like they're on a different scale of masculine and feminine because there's
Mhm.
infinite possibilities of what you can be. So if
Mhm.
everyone has a different identification of what level they're at, there is potentially an infinite number of like pronouns you could say that you would wanna use because everyone has a different level. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So, like, in the same way with mental health stuff, I think just really remembering that every single relationship you have is not gonna look like the other relationship you have and knowing that's okay, and then
Mhm.
re-mitigating your, like, expectations or your way you communicate or your style and, like, never feeling like one means that it's morally better than another one.
Yes. I wanted to, circle back to something that you just said, though. Like, how you were saying how in our friendship, like, we always joke, like, "You don't answer me."
Mhm.
And then, like, I'll do that too, where, like, I'll randomly have, like, a night you'll text me at 7, I'll answer the next day at, like, noon. And you and I were talking about it the other day, and I do wanna just, like, expand on it because I'm curious, but we made the joke the other day where I was like, "I need to get Meadow a work phone
Oh,
so
yeah,
that."
two-phone baby Keem,
Yeah,
yeah.
because, like,
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll text Meadow for work stuff that, like, I need an answer to, and, like, she won't answer because she will see my text and just be like, "Okay, I'll answer later," which is fine, obviously,
Or
if
my
it's like.
phone is literally in the other room because I
Right.
do put my phone away, which is the bad thing that I do, is that
So,
I won't
like.
even screen, I just put it away.
Right, and
Yeah.
so I wonder what the difference is because okay, so you know how, like, people have been saying or maybe it's just, like, my mother and, like, her
People,
generation,
meaning so my mom.
my mom, just about the concept of, like, oh, I mean, neither of us are Gen Z, I mean, I'm a cusper, but, like, they're like, "Oh, Gen Z doesn't wanna work because they just wanna take mental health days." And, okay, hear me out. I'm not gonna
Mhm,
say that's true, but I
mhm.
wonder where, like okay, like, for example, perfect example is, like, you are working with a brand right now who, like, gave like, after the mass shooting happened in Texas, literally, like, told all their employees, like, "Take what you need."
Take the mental health day, here's
Right?
a donation we made in our honor, was like the
Mhm.
most beautiful
Yeah, yeah,
handling of that
yeah, yeah.
situation I've ever seen. Yes.
Perfect.
Mayfair
So,
Group.
yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to say, but yeah, it was Mayfair,
Yeah.
and Sam's great, and,
Love of my life.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Sam's amazing. Um, so obviously that's an extreme situation, and that was a beautiful way to handle that, but then, like, where's sort of the line of, like, "Okay, I understand you're, like, anxious today, but, like, we have a deadline."
Literally as individual as the friendship is. It's every single person has such a different mental health issue and such a different response to it that like you I feel like it's about knowing who's on your team and knowing what you can ask for when, and I think if you are able to like manage that accordingly and work
Mhm.
with people, I think it can happen. Because I mean,
Well, that's just the
ooh,
thing about working with
there's also so
friends.
many factors here. Like is it like a social media post that's gonna be delayed? Because really that's fucking arbitrary. Who cares about social media?
Mhm.
Is it literally a doctor and a nurse that's taking a day off? Or like it's like the type of work always depends. Who you're working with depends. But I think, God, I
Do you
just
hear
think
what I'm
if you
saying?
no, I totally hear what you're saying, but I also
Mhm.
like my gut reaction to it was also like, so capitalism's version of like a 5-day work week and deadlines and everything is right? Like there's
But
so many places
no.
that my mind goes with it that it's
Right,
hard
because
for me
that's
to kind of
not.
say one big blanket statement for it.
Yeah, and so but I think that's why it goes back to education and, like, actually giving people the tools to gauge that. But,
Yeah.
like, this obviously, we're specifically talking about work, and we're specifically talking about a situation in which we are friends who work together. So, like, I know that sometimes I struggle with there have been times that I actively won't send you something, and I'll be like, "No, no, 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 I know she's, like, fucking going through and, like, doesn't need this is I gotta either do it or, like, it doesn't need to get done today, it's
Mhm.
fine. But then there's other moments where I'm like, "Okay, we've pushed things before and we already are pushing things and this doesn't need to be pushed. Like, let's just fucking finish it," or, like,
Mhm.
whatever. And
Mhm.
then we always kind of come together and figure it out. But,
Mhm.
like, I just think about, like, when we expand, right? And, like, I think about, like, in the future, and
Mhm.
it just has me thinking of, like, management styles and leadership styles because I obviously always want anybody who we're working with to feel completely supported by us.
Totally, totally, totally. I feel like the first thing we would do, because I think we do it with each other, is ask. So be like,
Mhm.
I think you and I also would kind of like require a certain level of communication, and that's
Yeah.
hella fucking open if that's not abundantly clear. And
Yeah.
we require that from everyone in our lives who we're dating,
'Kay.
who
Put me on the
we're
spot.
who we're friends with, who anyway. But so I think you and I, our style would the first thing would be like, okay, level with me here. Like, are you going to need 3 days? Do you need 1 day? Whatever you need is okay. But I need to make a not whatever you need is okay. I mean, it is, but you
Let's
never know.
be yeah.
But I need to make a game plan for like how I can hit all the things left while you're unavailable. And at
Right.
least that level of communication has to happen.
That's a really,
Right?
really fucking good way of
Thinking of it.
thinking of it. Yeah.
I have to plug my computer in. What do you think?
No,
What's
that's
your
no, no,
gut
no, no, no.
reaction?
That's a beautiful way of putting it because I think that that allows for I'm here for you, I support you, but it also is like, but at the end of the day, we're a running business that
Mhm.
needs it's not going to stop because you're
Mhm.
unavailable. So
Mhm.
you need to this is what is going to be required of you and I need you to do
Mhm.
this little push in order to just tell me what it is that you need.
Also, another Aaron example. Every time that he has felt sick or hasn't been able to go to work, I'm sitting next to him as he calls his manager to be like, they've already established he's sick, he's not coming
Mhm.
in. He's like, "Here's all the meetings I had today. Here's who needs to be pushed. Here's who you need to
Yeah.
see today. Here's whose housing is contingent upon this, this, and this. Here's the order that they're like giving people when you leave all the information of what every open project, every open person, like where things
Mhm.
stand, what needs addressing and what doesn't, and in what timeline for however long you're going to be gone. I think as long as you can supply that, it's more reasonable to give space for people to like process or have a day off,
Right.
right?
No, I fully agree with you. Um let's talk a little bit about setting boundaries with friends.
Okay, take it away because I got nothing. Don't know the meaning, never heard of her.
I mean, listen, you and I used to do this very early on in our friendship, and it's an exercise that you taught me where we don't really do it anymore because I think we know each other
What
well
is
enough.
it?
We know each other well enough now. But when Meadow and I were like in our courting stage of like gauging each other's personalities, we'd always ask each other, like, do you have the bandwidth? And sometimes we do. Sometimes we do actually ask each
Oh,
other
no,
that,
we totally do. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
not as much
Less.
as
Yeah,
less because I think
yeah.
we know what the other one is going through more or
And
less.
also, like, when you get deep, it's like, "You're in this with me, you're my best friend. Listen
Yeah.
up."
So yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
So there's definitely moments where it's like we would ask each other like, "Do you have the bandwidth to hear what I have to say?" I
Before
don't
unpacking something
or yeah,
that
and
may or may not be heavy,
exactly.
just for clarification.
Mhm.
Mhm,
And sometimes
mhm,
also by the way, I think it's really helpful when like how Meadow had said before, like you need to ask the person like what they need in response from you. And sometimes I feel like on my end, it's less of a burden, frankly, if I don't have to give advice. Like, if I'm just like,
oh my
"Do you need me
gosh.
to listen? Because 'Cause I'll sit here
Yeah.
and I'll listen, but, like, do you want my opinion?"
Right.
Because then I feel like then when I give opinions and I get involved, I then get attached to the outcome of what the person's gonna do,
Mhm,
and then
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
like, "Why did you waste my time
mhm.
not
Yeah,
listening to me?"
uh-huh. I had
Do you
to
know what I
let
mean?
that go a long time ago when you
I
start
have.
counseling people for a
Yeah.
living.
Yeah, no, no, no.
They
I'm
never do what
releasing.
you say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm releasing,
Yeah.
but, like, so I don't know,
But
I
it
feel
it
like
also is it's an act to a certain extent, it's like, "No, I care. That's why I now feel involved in, like, this," but then it's all yeah. Uh-huh.
I feel the need to point out though that there are extremes to this, right? Because there are moments in which your friend is going to be going through something that is extremely it's just like it's specific. It's one moment in time. Like, they're going through a specific event in time. It's not like
Okay.
you know what I mean? Okay, let's say your
Uh-huh.
friend goes through a breakup.
Mhm,
Perfect example.
mhm,
Your friend's going
mhm,
through a breakup and their mental health is fucking going through it, right?
mhm,
That, is a specific moment in time that they're going through that is gonna take, like, however long of healing, but you know that it's a specific thing. There's a difference
mhm,
between an event occurring
mhm,
that triggers something
mhm,
versus their whole existence is one giant mental health
mhm,
journey, right?
mhm.
And I think, from
But
my
this one
opinion,
still impacts this one.
yes,
Right.
but my point of making that that of just what?
Distinction, distinction.
Thank you.
There it is. Keep going.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay,
Wires are
keep going.
crossed today. My reason for bringing up that distinction is because I think the boundaries are different. At least for me, the boundaries shift. If my
Mhm.
friend is going through a specific event that I know, all right, this one is a sprint, not a marathon.
Yeah, okay,
You know
okay,
what I mean?
okay. Mhm.
I need to sort of swallow maybe a little bit of what I'm going through and swallow some of my boundaries because I know this isn't going to last forever. And I know that right now they really need my
Totally,
support. For example,
totally,
you did this for me beautifully when I went through my last breakup. Meta would
totally.
literally stay on FaceTime with me for like 24 hours.
Yeah, and
And it
I
was like,
hate being on the phone more than life itself.
and it was
More
just
than
like,
life
I've
itself?
never experienced somebody supporting someone in the way that you did for me during that breakup. Like
I'd do it again every time.
it was it was
The
fucking
backhanded compliment.
unbelievable. Like it was yeah, fuck you.
I was like, come on, hear my joke, hear my joke. There it is. Thank you.
It clicked. We get it. Gabby has issues in her
Just
love
kidding.
life.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Um,
No, you're so right though. It's like when
but it's
someone's going through
different.
something hyper specific to their
You
life
kinda
right
know. You
now.
know that you have to, like, amp yourself up for that exact moment in
Uh-huh.
time
Uh-huh.
versus they're just because I've had
Long
moments in
term.
friendships where they're just, like, fucking going through it all the time, and I'm like, "I can't keep up."
Yeah,
And I think the boundaries are different, right? So I think the boundaries with round 1 we just
totally.
said, and then if it's, this type of boundary, I feel like that's when you have to be a lot harsher with them and be
Mm,
like, "I am here, but you need if they haven't already gotten the support that they need, encourage them to get that support and encourage them to continue to get that support once they hopefully have." But then also it's like that's sort of where you have more right, I think, to be like, "Bitch, I'm tapped out right now." 'Cause it's a fucking
1,000%. And I
constant, like,
also
I can't
think
handle it right now. Like, I
it
also have shit going on.
it's so unhealthy for both parties for someone to be coming to a friend about their mental health repeatedly and not actively be seeking professional help at the same time if it's to that level. Like
Yeah.
it's so inappropriate and so bad and like I'm so people pleasery. I've been there too and have not been able to be like I'm not your fucking therapist.
Mhm,
But oh my god, is I think that is one of the kindest things you can do for a friend with mental illness is clarifying that you are not their therapist.
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's only gonna make things worse for you and them by placating that.
Yeah, and that's not to say
And
because
take it from people that have learned it the hard way, okay?
yeah. But it's
We're
it's
your
also
big
not
sisters
t
for a
yeah, yeah,
reason.
yeah, fully. It's not to say that, like, if you're the one, that like, you're not a burden on your friends. Like, I've had a friend, right, who, like,
No, it's
has had
not
a
being
lot
a
of ups
burden.
and
That's not what it's
downs.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, she's had a lot of ups and downs, but she's, like, actively seeks help, and, like, she'll sometimes, like, give me recaps of what's going on in her life, and we'll be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I just didn't wanna tell you because I just didn't wanna," and I'm like, "Okay, you're not a burden on me. Like, you're
Mhm.
actively seeking help. You're doing what you need to do, like, that you're not being a burden."
Because they can share something with you from a place of like, here's what's going on in my life. I've been going through it, but X, Y, and Z, I'm figuring it out. How are you? Versus here's what I'm going through, solve it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's
Mhm.
approaching with the intention to like share and bring someone into your life, and that your life does not have to be perfect for someone to bring you in on it and like be along with you and hold space for you and be there every step of the way. But when you're showing up with that information as like a let's workshop it now, what should I do?
Mhm.
That's where things go south.
100%.
So it's never that someone's a burden. You're never a burden by sharing where you're at if something that you're going through is hard. You're being inappropriate when you're asking someone else to solve it repeatedly. Repeatedly.
I feel like that's a beautiful way to end this episode. unless you
Oh,
have more
thank
to add.
God. No, let's get it over with. I don't know what I'm gonna say next.
Because this was no.
End it.
I feel like we came together. I feel like we came together. I feel like our fucking 2 brain cells, tried with all their might today.
They really danced together. They
They
were like,
really just wiggled and did a little shimmy together. And
"Thanks for keeping us on track,
you're welcome.
my
Thanks
girl."
for all of your great contributions per usual. My
Tweedledee and
stress ball came out in the
Tweedledumness.
middle of this episode.
I need it. Can you believe that everyone remembered to take one from Mayfair but me? Who else? Someone told me recently, Michael, Sarah's Michael, said he was on the flight and was having flight anxiety and started squeezing the stress ball from Mayfair's event and was like, it came in clutch. I was like, Gabby just said that to me.
It's
I
so
forgot
good.
to take one.
Well, thanks for listening. Rate and review. Go watch us on YouTube.
Don't rate a review after this one.
Go watch us on YouTube. I'm sorry if the sound was
You can
atrocious.
watch me cry.
We're really trying to figure it out. Fuck.
Quality
All
may
right.
vary.
Ciao.
Love you, bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Thoughts May Vary podcast every Monday.